Hi friends, this is going to be a longer video, so if you prefer to read this instead of listen to it, I'm attaching a transcript to this email. I'm going to go ahead and rip off the band-aid so you don't have to like skip ahead for some grand reveal. Beginning Advent of 2025, so November 30th of this year, we will all begin gathering together twice on Sunday mornings at 9 and 10:30 in the Square Room downtown. At this point, we will no longer have an evening gathering option. Here's how we got there. Crossings has been gathering downtown Knoxville on Sunday mornings since 2007. We also began gathering at Christenberry in 2011. And originally, these two gatherings were supposed to be more independent of each other, have separate pastoral staff, etc. Long story short, that didn't happen. When North first started, we had close to double the staff that we have now. And while both of our locations seem to be thriving, a little over a year ago, our staff and leaders began asking um, questions, seriously considering the long-term sustainability of a church and a staff of our size pulling off two different Sunday gatherings at two different places at two different times of the day. Of course, we're not trying to be like the most efficient church on the planet, but we do want to be good stewards of our resources. And our resources, of course, include money, but this is not just about money. It's about leaders and volunteers and energy resources, even the relational and pastoral resources that we have spread across what have become in many ways two different churches. We never wanted to be a church whose energy is entirely focused on a big Sunday worship gathering. We have always wanted to be people who are involved and in service to our neighborhoods, our schools, our workplaces, our communities. But as it turns out, the amount of resources and energy it takes to pull off two gatherings at two places at two times of the day is a lot. And so again, a little over a year ago, we began dreaming about what it might look like to consolidate it all. Four Market Square and Christenberry have both been wonderful homes for us. And we've also never been locked into one place we imagined we'd be forever. Church, faith community is about people, it's not about a building. And I think a nomadic building rental life helps remind us of that. So for the last year or so, we've been looking for a new location where we could all be together in one place. You may remember us talking about the new River and Rail Theater that's being built on the corner of Cherry and Magnolia. We still have a letter of intent out with River and Rail. That's still the goal, but it is a couple years away from reality. And we realized it might make sense for us to go ahead and consolidate our resources and ourselves, learn who we are as a community as a whole again, before we all move into a new place together. So our staff, operations team, and lead team have all been working through these grand decision trees, like do we all go downtown? Do we all go to Christenberry? When should this happen? We explored a couple entirely new options. We considered what's important about this place, what's hard about that place. We went around and around these things for a while. One of the most important things we considered about all of this is what's going to happen with Christenberry Elementary School. Our Christenberry location is the reason I started on staff here at Crossings in 2010. It's the reason I met my husband. It's the reason we decided to buy a house in Oakwood Lincoln Park. My kids grew up going to church at Christenberry and now go to school there. So while I'm confident that this is the right move for our community, it is emotional for us and for a handful of people who have been gathering in that place for the last 14 years. When Crossings North first started, we launched with a worship gathering. Eventually, a bunch of Crossings folks moved around the neighborhood and became really invested in that community. So invested that our work in the community today actually has very little to do with our worship gathering at Christenberry. It's funny, in the church planting world, a long time ago, people asked, like, you're supposed to ask your church, if your church closed its doors, would anybody in the community notice? And the answer was supposed to be like, yes, of course, people would notice if we, the church, are gone. But for Christenberry and that neighborhood, the answer is actually no. People shouldn't notice because the ways we serve that school and that neighborhood are so integrated and woven into the fabric of daily life for so many of our people. Basically, what started as a commitment to the school because of our weekly gathering is now a commitment because for so many people in our community, we live and work and play and send our kids to Christenberry. Our commitment to the school currently is almost 100% funneled through the PTA, the Community Schools Program, Beth Schoonover's nonprofit for the love of reading. And of course, we intend to continue and support Christenberry as Crossings, and we will be sure to communicate when those needs arise. So, while we're not gathering there on Sundays anymore, we have a really beautiful and redemptive story to tell about what's happened at Christenberry and in the surrounding neighborhood, a story that I'm really proud of, and I hope that you are too. So, I hope that by the end of the year, before this actually happens, we will have more of an exact timeline for the River and Rail Theater project. We do not intend to stay at Four Market Square forever. This is not a long-term solution for us. It's just a step toward where we're supposed to go next. It's to consolidate and take stock and remind ourselves of who we are as a whole before we go wherever God invites us next. We're excited for what this is going to mean for us on a communal level. We're excited to all be in one place. We're excited for you all to experience some of the things unique to downtown, some of the things unique to the North community. For example, one of those things, for a couple months, we are going to experiment with having our kids begin in the larger gathering in the square room for a couple worship gathering or songs and then a short kids teaching before they go upstairs to their classes. We'll have a chance to talk more about this, answer questions, talk about how this might work best, but this is something that has become really meaningful for our folks at North that we think is worth giving a shot downtown. So there's a lot of work to do, a lot to figure out together, and we need your help. We have a greenhouse planned on Saturday morning, September 6th. This is going to entirely be the topic of that greenhouse. We hope that you will consider coming to that so that we can dream and talk and plan and ask questions and pray together for what this transition might be for us. So that's Saturday, September 6th, 9:30 to 11. It's going to be in the square room. We will have bagels and coffee. We'll have childcare available. So please let Rebecca know if you're going to bring kids. But this is going to be an important one for us to work together and make this transition the best it can be. So as a reminder, and this is the thing I have to keep reminding myself, is that the work of helping each other and ourselves find our ways back to God, the way we join God in repairing the world, has never been dependent on a place. It has always been about the community of people wrestling with God and faith and life together. And making decisions like this is one we'll have to wrestle through together. We'll all have to make adjustments, but I trust that our values of authenticity and wholeness, restoration, creativity will allow us to navigate this transition with grace. We hope it can be an opportunity for more connections with each other, for a deeper sense of community for everyone. We hope that this move can refocus us and allow us to be together with more intentionality. So we care a great deal about how this might impact you and your family. We want to talk about the details that we might not have thought of that will impact your situation uniquely. So please don't hesitate to talk to me or any of us on staff, talk to our ops and lead team so that we can figure out a way to move forward best together. So thanks, friends. Love you all. Shalom.